Hey everybody, it's Mattie here with Altcoin Buzz. Comment ça va? Hope you're doing well on this Thursday. You're having a good week. The weekend's right around the corner, no doubt about that. So we're going to take a look at a few stories, just a handful today, but bigger picture items. We're really trying to take the macro perspective here with a wide lens angle. So we're taking a look at some opinions about where the crypto market could be in the next decade or so, throwing around some numbers in the $20 trillion range, according to a couple of people in the space. We're also looking at the broader CBOE Bitcoin ETF picture. VanEck has presented a few reasons for its approval, why it's a good move, why the SEC should be approving that particular ETF. We'll take a look at a pretty creative piece of writing here that should really inspire you one way or the other. There's going to be something that you can relate to in this. We'll take a look at that at the tail end. But let's begin here on Cointelegraph. We're still experiencing some problems with our altcoinbuzz.io website, but it's going to be back up soon, that's for sure. So here you have an article. Unconfirmed, U.S. regulators could approve Bakkt BTC futures launch in first week of November. Of course, we've been talking about Bakkt lately. We've been talking about some of the timelines. We discussed December in a recent video, but here you have the Intercontinental Exchange, ICE-backed cryptocurrency platform, which could get approval to launch its physically delivered Bitcoin futures product from U.S. regulators next week. An unconfirmed anonymous source told tech outlet The Block on Thursday, October 25th. So Bakkt, which seeks to create a, quote, regulated ecosystem for institutional investors, is looking to gain exposure to cryptocurrency, had previously confirmed it planned to launch its futures product December 12th. So that's what we discussed just the other day. I don't like the fact that this is, some unconfirmed anonymous source. That always seems to be the case with reporting, and people like to jump on that and sensationalize it. But that's the rumor, so we got to report it. Should regulators give the project the green light, ICE's Bakkt will begin launching its Bitcoin daily futures contracts for clients as soon as the first week of next month, according to an unnamed source, quote, with direct knowledge of the situation. So there's not a whole lot more that can be said on this particular point, given that it is just a rumor, but wanted to alert you to that because that does seem to be a piece of news that's floating around out there. I know we have contrasting opinions when it comes to Bakkt. The institutional angle is a double-edged sword. I, so far, am on board with what they're proposing. I think the physically backed aspect of it as well is also very impressive. I haven't really pitched their website a whole lot, but if you want to learn more about Bakkt, you can connect with them here as well by putting in your coordinates. Do check them out at Bakkt.com. We've been discussing them at length quite a bit, ad nauseum actually, in recent days and weeks. So I'll just leave this here. If you want to check it out further, that seems to be the rumor, that this whole Bitcoin futures contract initiative could be launched sooner than expected, possibly in November. So, let's kind of put this on the back burner. Let's not take it too seriously, but at the same time, keep it in mind. And if and when there are updates, we're going to let you know what those are. So here's an interesting piece of uplifting news. The next 10 years, crypto market to eclipse $20 trillion as Bitcoin's influence fades. So almost like an ambivalent statement there. But the point has been made here. It's been 10 years almost since Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto published his white paper on Bitcoin, and the global economy hasn't been the same since. So we're sitting at a Bitcoin market cap of about $112 billion right now. So this is all the opinion, the subsequent information here is all the opinion of Mr. Nigel Green, who's the CEO of financial advisory firm DeVere Group, which boasts 10 billion AUM, and in the next 10 years will look a lot different than Bitcoin's first decade. That's according to him. So what's interesting is that his outlook is this mixed bag, as the author says here, with Bitcoin's, quote, influence and dominance of the cryptocurrency sector expected to drastically reduce, while the value of the broader crypto market is poised to expand by 5,000%, which would attach a combined market cap of $20 trillion in the coming decade, which Green stated in a press release. Quote, while I don't wish to rain on anyone's parade, I believe that Bitcoin's influence and dominance of the cryptocurrency sector will drastically reduce in its second decade. This is because as mass adoption of cryptocurrency grows, more and more digital assets will be launched by organizations in both the private and the public sectors. This will increase competition for Bitcoin and dent its market share. Now, Mr. Green also seems to be pretty gung-ho at the same time on Dubai. So he's slamming Bitcoin, but also propping up, he's propping up XRP. So he's based out of Dubai, rather, and he had the following to say about XRP. I believe that XRP will be one of the main digital assets to dent Bitcoin's market share over the next few years due to its apparent focus on integrating with banks and other financial institutions. And you guys may remember, as pointed out here, that very briefly, but it still counted, XRP muscled Ethereum out of the number 2 spot just recently for cryptocurrencies. That was according to coinmarketcap.com. It happened actually more than once, though it has since fallen back to the number 3 spot. Meanwhile, despite the fact that Ethereum has fallen out of favor with the crypto community as of late, Green remains bullish on the future, though he falls short of calling for a flippening event. Quote, another one would be its current main challenger, Ethereum, talking about potential projects to dethrone Bitcoin. This is because a growing number of platforms are adopting Ethereum as a means of trading. There's an increasing use of smart contracts by Ethereum and due to the decentralization of cloud computing. So kind of pro-ish Ethereum, definitely pro-XRP, not so much pro-Bitcoin long-term, but very pro-crypto market. Think about it, $20 trillion market cap. Let's just round it off to 200 billion right now. So it would have to grow 5 times to get to $1 trillion and then 20 times. So this is 100 times greater, 5 times 20, than we are currently with the overall cryptocurrency market cap. Do you guys think that's realistic? You can check out another piece here, when to expect an XRP listing on Coinbase. We're not going to go through this, but just because we discussed XRP as far as Mr. Green's opinion, may as well link to this article. If you want to check out this piece here, deveregroup.com, or it's devere-group.com. You can check out the press release in particular. So on October 24th, Bitcoin's 10th anniversary, its dominance will decline, but crypto market will rise 5,000%. Perhaps. Let's see. That's a pretty bold prediction. At the same time, I always, I talk about these kinds of things when it comes to Dan Moorhead of Pantera Capital or John McAfee or any of these people. They have their own interests at heart when they make these sensational claims and announcements, right? They want to grow their own business. That's human nature, so take it with a grain of salt. In other news, big institutional news, of course, continuing on our theme, VanEck presents 5 reasons for approval of its Bitcoin ETF to SEC. So again, we're talking about the CBOE VanEck Solid X Bitcoin ETF here. And we don't have to run through the entire thing, but VanEck is an investment management firm with headquarters in New York. The firm has decades of experience in the traditional finance sector and numerous ETFs filed under its name. So VanEck has presented the following points to the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, asking the authority to consider these in approving its Bitcoin ETF. So number 1, there now exists a substantial regulated derivatives market for Bitcoin. I actually didn't quite know that. I'm not into the world of derivatives, but it stands to reason that whatever products are out there, there's going to be a derivative for it. So the fact that it's substantial, okay, I learned something today. That's interesting. Number 2, relevant markets are regulated. These include CBOE, the Chicago Board Options Exchange, Bitcoin futures, and OTC over-the-counter desks. Number 3, worries concerning price manipulation have eased, not 100%, but yeah, I would say yes, they have eased, consistent with approval of prior commodity-based ETPs. Number 4, CBOE's rules are created to surveil for potential manipulation of trust shares. That, to me, is the most important one so far. And number 5, it encourages investor protection. The Bitcoin ETF encourages investor protection. You can read a little bit more about this. I don't know if that's going to fully sway the SEC, if they had a strong opinion one way or the other. Are those points, more or less they were already known, let's be honest. But something to consider nonetheless. You can take another look at that. We're on atosmarkets.com. You can take another look at that on CCN here. 5 reasons why VanEck's Bitcoin ETF should be approved by the SEC in 2019. Those same 5 reasons are listed. So take a look. Let us know what you think about that in the comments below. Are you even a fan of the ETF proposal in the first place? I realize that many of you aren't, and that's okay too. So a lot of big institutional news with Bakkt, with VanEck, all these proposals that they're putting forward, all these wild speculations about the price of cryptocurrency, the whole market in the next 20 years. But here's an interesting little creative piece of writing, why Bitcoin and crypto have no future. Now, this is not exactly going where you think it's going. So why do Bitcoin and crypto assets have no future? When the New York Stock Exchange is creating the cryptocurrency trading platform Bakkt in collaboration with Microsoft and Starbucks with physically backed Bitcoin futures contracts. Why Bitcoin and crypto have no future? When Fidelity is offering it to its clients and has been mining it since 2015. No future because when Steve Wozniak is co-founding crypto assets investment firm, when Katy Perry Instagrammed the following. And it just goes on with a whole list of examples here related to Bill and Melinda Gates, Amazon Web Services, IBM, when Jamie Dimon tells all that Bitcoin is a fraud and that if he catches any employee who owns it, he would fire them, while in the background, JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley bought Bitcoin ETNs on the dip. Oh, how convenient. I'm sure that was accident. George Soros, Alibaba, Yale's endowment fund, the Winklevoss twins, all kinds of great examples. So they keep telling you the FUD keeps hitting. Bitcoin and crypto have no future. But is that really the case when there are all of these examples, like several dozen examples here? So pick and choose your favorites. This is a great little article, great little piece here on Medium. We're going to link to that in the description below. Be sure to give it a read in full and let us know your thoughts about it. Okay, so with that, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army, a lot going on. Let's kind of, like I said, put some of these stories on the back burner, see what happens. We're going to update you as soon as there are relevant updates to share. So do be sure you're following Altcoin Buzz and Altcoin Buzz News. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Telegram. If you've not caught up with our last video, check it out here on the right, as well as our latest content on altcoinbuzz.io. Website should be up and working very soon. If you choose to invest, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army, on this Thursday, I wish you all the very best of luck. Hey, if you enjoyed the video, smash that thumbs up. We put out new stuff every day, as you know, so we're going to see you guys again soon in a new video. Have a great Thursday. Take care.